hours anyway. So instead of having our layover in Utah, we just end up being in Cabo for another 5 hours instead. So
Right.
flew from Cabo to Utah, and then man. So we
Nice.
only had like an hour to get through customs to get to the other plane to transfer
Oh yeah,
back.
that's the
So that
worst.
that shit sucked, but we made it.
That happened to
We
me
get off
when
the
we
plane,
came
we was
back.
like, fuck. Like
Yeah, but we came
I was
back
like,
from
damn, the
Europe,
five
same
hours is
thing.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you got an hour in between. That shit is like that's nerve wracking.
That's tough.
Hmm. And then we didn't know how far we were gonna have to walk to the other side of there. Luckily, it wasn't that far, but
Nice.
worked out.
How's the home working out?
Man, I'm peaceful, bro. I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
It's funny. I'm back in Oakland, but it's shit. The other day. I'm not too far away from the Coliseum. Like I watched the fireworks show from the Coliseum.
Oh yeah, you're close.
Yeah, bro. Like I'm in between Bancroft and Foothills, so I can see like literally on the hill. I walk down the block, I see the Coliseum like down the hill. So
Got it. Nice.
yeah,
So you
it's cool.
could you walk there, or you still got to drive?
Nah, it's a drive. That's a walk. I mean, I could do a walk, but hell, that's gonna be like an hour. But nah,
Yeah.
I'm about to be cool on the walk. It's
Nice
like
man.
how it is.
Oh, of
Hour
course.
walk, 20
Yeah.
minute drive.
Yeah. Well,
Like
it depends on
20-minute
traffic
drive.
too.
That part.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
I'm excited for the
Mm.
extended list. Maybe like when we hit 100 episodes or something like that, we could look back and do this one again because
Oh
for
yeah.
sure
Okay.
the ones that are wrestling right now, they're gonna make it to another Mount
Oh,
Rushmore,
for
and I
sure,
think it's
for
gonna be
sure.
that new
Yeah.
generation where you can't compare the old with the new. But
Right.
for instance, like starting off with who my number one would be for women's Mount
Mhm.
Rushmore. I hope you got the same one though. For me,
It's gotta be. Yeah, I mean,
China.
China. Okay.
Yeah.
She's. I got her. I got her number two.
Okay.
I do have a
So
number two for me.
the reason why number one is just because
Hmm.
I trying to make sure I say the right thing here because I don't want us to get canceled on episode 3. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Right.
but being a little kid, uneducated
Hmm.
little kid, she came out. She looked like, dang, like are you sure that's a woman, right? And
We
we were
facts.
like, oh man, she looks like
She's
she could
strong.
tear us all up. And then
Right.
the more that she got to be her character and show her personality, she was a lovely person, super funny on there too. And her segments that she
Hilarious, bro.
had with sexual chocolate, oh my god,
Oh my God.
love that.
Yes.
So, but
Mhm.
she was the what did they call her? It was the ninth wonder of the world,
Ninth one. Yeah.
right?
Like that's
So
huge. Like,
that was pretty
So yeah.
big, and then she was like I think the first woman to enter in the Royal Rumble, right?
Yep. The first woman to enter the men's Royal
I think she
Rumble.
even took
Yep.
people out, but she was, I would say, the first one who was secure enough with taking all that stigma and being, muscular back then because it was still kind of rare. I mean, they had bodybuilding
Oh yeah.
competitions, but not on TV, not like wrestling and all that. So she didn't fit the mold, especially when you had all the other ones like
Not your
Jacqueline and
typical female.
Sable,
Mhm.
so things like that. So it's kind of like, but she definitely held her own. There would be no DX also without China. I think she was like that
Right.
centerpiece that held them all together and just standing there with their arms crossed, and they got the big old sausage link too, and they're just putting it right
Right.
there and
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. The
doing the
big
little
stick,
X.
bro. The big stick.
The big stick.
You carried the big stick, bro.
But it was, she was like, I would say I give her props because also she's not here no more, and I
Right.
think a lot of that stuff that happened, as we talked about being ignorant, people saying bad things, and being masculine looking, and I think that took a toll
Mm.
on her, and then people treated her pretty bad, and I still think that they did her dirty with what happened, in her personal life and the
Oh
things
yeah.
that were not meant to be seen and that got seen, and that did take a toll on her as well. And I don't think that she should be punished from entering the Hall of Fame. Like she needs to be in there for sure. And it's
Yeah.
tough, but yeah, that's my number one. She could also
Mm.
wrestle. She improved a little bit. She was stiff in the beginning, but she was a really big character in my opinion for women's wrestling to get started and get that respect to want to see women wrestle a little bit more. But
Oh yeah.
that was my number one to start off with. What about you?
Yeah. So I went with Alundra Blayze, because
Yeah,
growing up, she was the first real female wrestler we saw,
true.
or that I saw anyway.
Hmm.
Um, I remember her matches with her versus Bull Nakano. Her being on she was the first woman. They had canceled women's wrestling
Mm-hmm.
when by the time they got rid of it in the 90 in 1990.
Yeah.
And when Alundra Blayze came in 93, she took the belt and they put it on her and she ran with it, and dude, they had budget cuts. They ended up cutting her later on.
True.
Like, but she was the main. She was your main wrestler, like
Yeah.
your main female wrestler. I think she was like the first women's champion after fucking the Fabulous Moolah. Fabulous Moolah was like champ for like 50 years,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
Like literally, like she literally was a champ for like 40 years or something like that. Though she did have like a long ass run.
Yeah.
Like she was that champ. So
Yeah, she was. Did she?
to see what she did, and then when we end up seeing the whole when she got cut and then went over to WCW,
That's what I was about to ask you.
Medusa
Yeah.
and drop, yeah, that dropped the trash can. I mean, dropped the belt in the trash can. That's kind of
So,
and reading about it,
is that safe to
I
say
know it's
if it wasn't
controversial.
for her doing that, dropping the belt in the trash can, do you think that had anything to do with Vince being scared of Brett taking his title over to WCW?
Oh hell yeah, for sure. That's why he's all like, you got to get rid of the belt. You got to take the belt off of your. No, that's how the screw job happened. We could for sure, for sure.
So it's her
That has
fault.
to be the reason why. It's her fault. Yeah, we're
Damn.
gonna blame. It wasn't Sean.
It
You know,
wasn't Hunter.
Almond just screwed Brett.
There you
Okay,
go.
Medusa screwed Brett.
That's right. Yeah, but she's
But
definitely the pioneer of actual true women's wrestling. So
the
yeah, I
true
gotta give her
women's
that.
wrestling, because she wrestled, bro. Like
Yeah,
before like I said before, that was the first female wrestler we saw wrestling for a long time. And then, like I said, they dropped it after the trash can thing. Then they brought it back with, they brought back in the late '90s. In
true.
'98 in the Attitude Era, they brought it back. So,
Yeah.
and the
Eh,
fact that behind the scenes, like she trained a lot of wrestlers. Like when she went after she left WWE, she went back to WC. She went to WCW. She trained Molly Holly
oh
in the
really?
power plant, Stacy Keibler. So a lot of the female wrestlers they ended up coming over and wrestling in WWE later on after they got acquired. You know, she trained a lot of the female wrestlers that went over into WWE. So
Yeah, that's
another
probably
thing she
the
said
big
she
possibility.
got that huge, and that's why I think she got banned from WWE for so long because she did that.
It is pretty
Because
disrespectful.
apparently it was, but
I
she said
get
she
it
got
though.
goaded into doing it. I feel it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm like when I seen that, I was like, holy shit, bro! Like that was shit to me. That was almost as big as the NWO moment for me when they first came out. It was like right around the same time period, bro. So
Did they even have a good stable of wrestlers in WCW for women?
yeah, for a hot second, it's funny they brought half the women that she fought. Yeah, they brought Bull Nakano over. There's another. There was another woman over there. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember. There was a big ass buff chick came out around the same time as China. Her name was Nicole Bass. She was hella
The
big, bro,
name
but she was bigger.
sounds familiar
Yeah,
for sure.
you see her, you're like, holy shit, yeah. But she was just as big as fucking China. I don't
Yeah.
know. She didn't have the charisma, but
Yeah. And so I mean, number two, I don't really have
mhm.
like an order of who it's going to be, but I think I put Trish as my number
Okay,
two because I want to say that she was like the first total package one. I mean, she had the
basically,
looks, and then she was able to wrestle as well, and she could
right.
do a lot of good things. Pretty good on the mic, and shoot, I still give her props. She just came out. What was it, last year? She had a run.
Yeah, she had a run. They had it was last year for yeah, last year it was
Mm-hmm.
her and Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
They had their little beef for a minute.
but I mean,
And
yeah.
then
So I think she was pretty
it
good.
elevated. Oh yeah, for sure. Still doing their thing.
Yeah,
Still looks good too. I'll give her that.
yeah. She's still going on tour all the time to the Comic Cons, but
She
she was a
does.
really good. I mean, she was one of the first champs that I remember seeing. Like, it was like she's been champ for a good while, and she's running
Mhm.
with the title. She's the face of the women's company and all that. So I think she was like a pretty good, solid number two on that one.
Oh yeah.
Um, there's still some more that are exciting, but I think she was the first one to start with taking the looks, also with the wrestling. I mean, so you had
Right.
China, who was just strong as hell. I
Hmm.
not gonna ever. put Sable in there. I know she wrestled a little bit, but I don't
Bro,
consider her
hey,
as
but
far as a real
she
women's
wasn't a
wrestler.
wrestler, bro.
She was
She
the
was looks,
manager,
bro.
and all she
Yeah,
did was have
the
puppies.
valet, a valet.
Yeah,
She was a valet.
and the
Hey,
puppies
we
that
show was looking. I know.
Jerry Lawler.
Yes,
But
and every 12-year-old boy at that time period, cause for sure was like,
but so she doesn't count, unfortunately, But
mhm.
I would say Trish was the first one to start with the looks, and then also being able to wrestle and start
Yeah,
women and getting that right respect of saying, all right, we could look this way, but we're also going to be able to wrestle, and you're going to watch us and you're going to pay for us to come and see us, which was a good thing because I think for a little bit with Vince, I don't even know if I have to say this, but Vince started maybe abusing his power a little bit, and just
yeah. Oh, for
with
sure.
the looks, right? They would just do underwear strip
Yeah.
teases and just pretty much just
Bra and
be
panties matches, bro.
that's all it
That's it.
was. It was no longer
The
about
bikini
women having
contest.
respect or can they wrestle. It was just pretty much just using them and abusing them, right? And
Do they look good?
yeah,
I'll say basically, it
and
was all looks after a while.
it was a tough time for the women because they wanted to get their name out there and be recognized as well as like the men, but the only shot he was giving them was to be in their bikinis. And yeah,
And
damn,
you're
that
getting
guy is
paid to
evil.
do it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, who do you got for number two?
Like I said, my number two, I actually had China. I went with China
Okay.
there because, like I said, she was the first. You know, to me, she was the first. Well, she didn't have the look that per se, but she
Mm-hmm.
started. She elevated women's wrestling again. She was one of the first where they put the title on after. I think she was one. I think she was like one of the first women that actually put the belt back on after, or was it Jackie? I forgot who it was. I have read it
Yeah, I
earlier,
remember Jackie
but
having it for sure.
she had it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I felt like when China had the belt, it became she elevated it. She was the ninth wonder of the world. You know what
Right.
I mean? And she made women's wrestling again. Like even she wrestled like a man, but it was wrestling. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like you said, she was this powerhouse. So.
And she would
But
have
I
fit
made
in perfectly right now.
Oh yeah, with the women's division,
Yes.
for sure, for sure, she would. Yeah, she would be. We won't have a women's division right now. Like we have her. Like
Yes.
they took from her and made it. They made her wrestle. They like, dude, you actually had to have some skill.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think she was part of. She was with the game for a long time, so she knows about the business. She knew how to wrestle.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she was around
Great.
the top. Shoot, who you gonna
She's
get
around the
better?
top guys, bro. Top
Sean
guys, bro. You got the
Hunter
Shawn Michaels, Hunter,
Kid.
um,
I mean, he was great too.
all those guys. He was great. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. All them guys. They're real wrestlers, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Guys that really love the business. So
Yeah.
you being around that, I know you got better.
Exactly.
It's
So
unfortunate what happened.
it sucks,
Like I
man.
said, the whole storyline and everything. I'm just like, yeah, you see why Rikishi was talking about the whole Jey Uso thing. He's like, he got Jey Uso talking to mommy. I was like, oh shit. He's like, I was all like, he was around that time
Yeah,
period.
he
He was in
was.
WWE when that was going down. He's all like, he's trying to get that man to lose his wife. I'm like, oh
Oh
shit. You
no.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I see it, but I was like, oh, you gotta be cool. Don't say it out loud, sir.
But
Like,
yeah. So
but
rest
yeah.
in peace to China.
Rest in peace to
Much respect
China.
to
And
her.
now I
Love
know
her.
she will be in the Hall of Fame soon enough. I think they're gonna shit. They'll put her in there.
Hey,
But did
with
they not?
everything going on nowadays in social media and all the things that come out with everybody, she deserves. That was private.
Oh yeah,
That was private.
that was a
And
private
then
thing.
yeah, I know
That
she
was
went
private.
even off the. She went more, but she got to get some
She
type
went
of
off the
income.
hook. She was off the hook. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
off the hook, and it well,
Yeah.
I've seen.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
So,
rest in peace. Yes.
all right, number three for me uh,
Mhm.
would have to be Lita.
Okay.
And that was because she was the first one that I saw. And again, this is me when I say Mount Rushmore. I guess it's like how we
Mhm.
talked about last time. What brought you into wrestling? And, who
Yeah.
got you introduced? So for me, that was China. Who started to
Mhm.
get you like, okay, well, let me see what this is about more now, and that would be Trish for me. And then once
Mhm.
I saw Lita, and she would do the swanton bomb off the top rope and just be a hard like
That moonsault.
again just growing
Mhm.
up and you're getting your interest into different women and at the time as a kid and you're like, oh my god, another crush, another category. You go
Yeah.
from Trish
Another
and then
one.
you go to Lita and it's like, okay, it's just like difference. It's almost like, again, as a kid, you're going through stages of growing up, and
Oh
as
yeah.
you're growing up, wrestling was also evolving too, and just the different stages of just plain wrestling to getting a little bit better and being more technical for sure, but with some entertainment. Then it became strictly only entertainment. It wasn't as
Right.
much that much
For a good
wrestling.
while.
Now we're coming back to mixing it both up together. But she was one that would sure take bumps in a great
Oh
way,
yeah.
and she was really smooth with the wrestling as well. She would jump off the top
Yeah.
rope, take
High
bumps,
flyer. Yeah.
fight
She was the
anybody.
first female high flyer I really had paid attention to. Yeah, I think yeah, at the time period, you think about it, she was really the only. Yeah, she was the first like I felt like that
Yeah,
I saw first female high flyer.
yeah. First,
She's also number three on my list too.
okay.
So
Oh,
that
good. So
working out.
we're
That's perfect.
together on
Yeah.
this one finally.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're together on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was and then you can't. Maybe it was unintentional, but the feud she created because of real shit that happened with um, her boyfriend,
The
was it Matt Hardy, right?
Matt Hardy
Matt Hardy and
and
Edge.
Edge.
She went, from one to the other, but poor guy, he was never the same after that.
Or no, he well shit. He ended up dating a whole well. He won at the end of the day. I mean, because his wife is kind of hot, bro. I'm not gonna lie. She ended up well today. She was hot, bro.
Yeah,
She modeled it. I think she modeled in Playboy or something like that before he ended up. So I don't know.
but
He
I
came
think
up. Yes.
they kind of did. I think his character started to have a decline. Like they were
Oh yeah, he
forcefully
did.
pushing him down on purpose.
Oh for sure,
They kind
for
of
sure.
used it that real life situation. I want to call it a tragedy, but
Hmm.
the tragedy that they had with him and use it on his character. So now everyone even knows
You know,
about it now, and they make him look stupid, and he loses, and
they
then
made it
they
look.
push him
Yeah,
down. So
they did. They used. Yeah, that I feel like that sucked when it came to that type of. Vince was good for that though. It's
it's
like, hey,
it's
we're gonna
ruthless.
blend. We're gonna blend the reality.
Yeah,
There wasn't no.
it's
Ain't
that
no
ruthless
kayfabe.
aggression for sure.
Ruthless aggression. He really did that shit.
All right, but she was really good. She took it serious as well. But
Hmm.
man, we're already going to be at number four. So what about you though?
I think about her, but I had Trish for four, so I swapped. I had
Ah,
Lita and Trish switch. So yeah, so I
got it.
had I had Trish. I got Trish at four because she was like you said at the time period. She was like the total package. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? She had the look and she was like actually. No, she actually wrestled, and was decent, Stratisfaction. Um, feel like she did a Hurricane Rana at one point in time too. I think I seen her pull that
yeah,
off
yeah. I
before.
believe she did.
Yeah,
Yeah, she did everything, and it was
yeah.
funny because back
I mean, it
then,
wasn't as smooth as
yeah,
Lita, but
that's exactly what I was
Lita,
saying.
Lita was to me, like I said, she was that female wrestler that had it. She talked, she had the athleticism as well
Hmm.
to pull that off. Because her moonsault was one of the best moonsaults I had seen at the time period.
Exactly, but also she
But
looked different
mhm.
in a good
She looked
way.
different.
But
She
I'm
had
saying
that
like
kind of,
she didn't fall into that same category. That I'm not trying to be stereotypical,
exact.
but just blonde
She
and
wasn't your blonde
yeah,
bombshell. She wasn't like your typical Vince McMahon
exactly.
prototype.
Came out with
You know
red
what I'm
hair,
saying? She had the red
rocker
hair.
look,
Ooh,
alternative
she's
back
got
then.
like
And that was the end
tattoos.
thing.
That was hot. That was hot.
That was the end thing
Yeah,
back then
yeah,
too. That was like when the alternative
hmm
started to hit a little bit more and
yeah,
become the most popular thing.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's your number four. You said right? Was
That was
Trish?
my number. Well, no, Trish is my number four.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have Alundra Blayze, China,
hmm China, Lita,
Lita,
Trish.
Trish. Okay,
hmm
so the last one for me,
hmm
it's just because I think the conversation we had was it's going to be tough to include the ones that are wrestling now because they're so levels above the women back then as far as wrestling, mic, and
hmm
everything. I was like, it's going to be tough just to ignore it. But there is one that I was like, you know what? I think she made my top list, and that was going to be Charlotte Flair.
It's got to be there. See, she's gonna be my honorable mention. She's gonna be
She
honorable
is,
mention for me.
she's
She
amazing.
does everything. She
Every
does
single thing
everything.
you could think of. If you like her,
Everything.
then you love her. If you dislike her, then you really hate her. Like she's really good to
Yeah,
be
you
able
hate
to
it.
do
Like,
both that. She took a lot of cues from her dad, and then she had to
yeah,
learn to love the business as well because I mean she knew all about it, but then again it's like, well, this business took
she
away my
wasn't really
father.
part of. Yeah, that part.
Yeah, you took away
And
my father, and I think her brother Reed
her
wanted to
brother
do it,
is
and
same
she didn't
thing.
want to do it,
Yeah,
but then she did
and
it for him.
yeah, after he passed away, and then
Yeah.
she's all, I'm gonna make this happen. Like, cause I think they were actually training together
Mm-hmm.
before he passed. So
But it's
you
like you
know,
could
but to see what she did,
oh
like you
yeah,
said, like Like, yes, she has the Flair name, but she's did it her own way though, in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that she's already 16-time champ, or the 16. She's already 16 times
Yeah,
champ as well. But
that's
the
insane.
fact that Nepo, she's old Nepo baby, but I'm
Yeah,
just
I
playing. But
guess
that's life. But
it is
hey,
life.
that's life. And either hey, if you could set your child up to be good, and they actually do a good job at it, why not? You know what I'm
Oh, of
saying?
course.
Like because how many other Nepo babies we seen that really didn't do shit? You
I
know what
would
I
say
mean?
majority
Like
don't make it in wrestling.
they don't make it,
They don't.
but they don't. But you see what she's done, and she elevate. She. We wouldn't be like her and the four horsewomen.
Oh
We
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about all. We can talk about them as well. But Charlotte, what she's done she elevated women's wrestling.
big time.
Yeah, she took over after she was the first women's champ after the diva. They got rid of the divas
Divas, yeah.
championship.
So
So
that's something you said was I think probably the perfect thing is that she made her own name. She's got Flair's
yeah,
name, which is the biggest name in wrestling for sure. Everyone knows
yes,
that. But the fact that
everybody knows.
she
But
made it to where everyone says she's Charlotte. They don't even have to say
right.
Charlotte Flair all the time. They just say Charlotte and all that. So she
They
did make a
say
name for
Charlotte
herself.
now,
Yeah.
that she made her own name, bro. And the
Even
fact that I love when we go in there, like she does some of the shit that her daddy does,
she
that
does.
woo, she does the woo, but you got to do that. I mean, hell, if that's
Yep.
why not? It's one of the biggest trademarks ever. If it ain't broke, don't fix it,
No, I
bro.
don't.
That's my dad. But why not? I'll do it.
Yeah. It's great to see her do that, and even she has the
Mhm.
same, figure four, but does a
Yeah,
little elevated, back, spin, whatever. But
yeah.
that's a good thing to do too, change it. But when she comes back, she's been out for a good while.
She's been out for a while. Yeah, I don't know if she's recuperated
I don't know,
I know.
but she's also at the same
She might
time
just
too, where she also passes the torch a lot. So that's why you
yeah.
said she's like a 16-time
She was
champion.
the
But
face. She's the face. She's the face of the company. She was the face of the company for a long time. She was the face. So
got it. So I mean,
she's
that's
been here.
again we mentioned four for each already that are pretty good. But if we have to do one more,
Hmm.
let's just because I don't want to do 10
I
yet.
would have.
Let's save it. So
Yeah.
let's do five. That's not
All
normal
right,
Mount
that's fine.
Rushmore. Let's do five.
See,
So who would you
I
pick?
probably. I would say I have Charlotte up there,
Your
bro.
honorable
Like
mention then.
it's kind of.
Okay.
That was my honorable mention. That's
All right.
my
Let's
five because
do
she's.
one more then for you.
Hmm. Okay. You know who I shit.
You're going through the list in your head like, damn, there's a lot of
I'll go
talent
to the
out there.
list. Like, a lot of talent, but I'll say honestly, who I have to say. I love Sasha. I love her matches and shit like that. But I might have to go. I got to go with Bianca,
Yeah.
Bianca Belair. Yeah, because she could talk on the mic.
Mm-hmm.
She can talk, but her athleticism. I don't know if you remember during the pandemic of that time you saw her, bro. She picked up Otis
Oh yeah.
and did put her on the shoulders and ran around the ring,
Mm-hmm.
bro, in that little competition thing. And dude, 330 pounds, bro.
He's
She's
a big
running
boy.
around like that's a big guy,
I'm
bro. And
sure
he's
he might be
just
even bigger than
solid.
that
Right? They
back
say he's
then.
only 330, but I
Yeah,
was like, bro,
whatever.
but stocky
Mm-hmm.
as motherfucker. But she's able to like that. He's like a sack of like big ass potatoes, bro. But she had him
Exactly.
up there on and did the shit. I was like, holy shit! And the fact that her, like I said, she could her backflips,
Mm-hmm.
like and she's strong, bro. She's strong. She's basically like a combine, like you could treat like you combine China, Lita, you basically, and
Yeah, pretty
you got
much.
Bianca Belair. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like she has the size. Like they built her as a powerhouse for a long time, so it was cool to see. Like she is hella strong though. She
Mm-hmm.
is hella strong. So
You know what I like though
I had to give
about
it to.
women's
Hmm.
wrestling? I hate making it about this because
Hmm.
I'm not a person I care, but I just don't like always talking about it. Is the fact that women's wrestling
Hmm.
they really don't hold you back based on your skin color. And that's
No,
one of the
they
things
don't.
that the men, I, I don't. There ain't really no Mexican champions. Eddie Guerrero, there's
That
African
was
American.
it.
There's maybe
Then you
Kofi,
got the Rey Mysterio,
Kofi,
Kofi. I
and
think
Ron
Big
Simmons.
E, Ron Simmons.
But
Yeah,
that's it though. For
that was it pretty much.
years and
Yeah.
years of wrestling, right? And it's tough,
Hmm.
because we want role models too. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
But
It was
women,
nice to see. Yeah.
Women's different though, because you got Bianca Belair, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
Naomi, who's
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing too. She should be up there as well, just
She's
like
up there.
athleticism
She
and
had been around for a while.
on the mic as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
still minority. Nia Jax.
Nah. Yeah.
I mean,
And
she's
she's
part of
gotten
the.
a lot better. She's gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Um, I've been a fan of Nia though since her NXT days. I could tell that, you could tell she was going to be somebody. She worked a lot sloppier. Like,
Oh
she was
yeah.
stiff. She was hurting motherfuckers. Like, I was like, she was real out there.
Then you have
But
Sasha
she went
Banks,
away.
as you said.
You know,
Same. They were
she
at the
was
top.
killing it. She was killing like the four horsewomen. All of them are running that shit for a good one. All of them are running that shit.
Yeah.
Yet like you say, Kurt Bailey was the champ up until recently. Lost at SummerSlam, but
See, so
you know,
I don't know who I would put for my honorable mention. Hmm. I want to say Bailey,
Bailey's up there.
and the reason why is
You
because I
gotta
feel like
holler.
she
She's from the Bay.
is. Yeah, she's from the Bay, or Newark, but
Hmm.
she is extremely smart and understands the business as well, and I think that's why they
Word.
gave her damage control
Yep.
to run
And
with
look
that
what she did with
and
it.
be a
She ran
manager,
and built
teach
up
them.
all of them.
Yeah, so that lets me know like they believe in her. She knows the business and she's able to be smart with that. So, but is she the smoothest still? No, I don't think so. Bianca is pretty up there.
I see. I
The
feel like she don't really have Bianca don't have botches and shit like that. Like
no,
her shit looks clean. She looks real clean. She looks smooth, bro. Her shit.
but then what about
I'm.
Asuka?
Oh my! How did I not mention her? Oh my God! But
That's what I'm
she's part of the
saying.
new shit. Like, yeah,
that
bro. And
whole
honestly,
that whole
the
group,
whole
man.
her streak. You know what I mean? That she had for a long time. So that was all good.
Becky Lynch is up there.
Becky Lynch is up there. The man.
The man. Who else is up there? Neo.
How? Yeah.
Just
How
it's
did how
unlimited.
did I not mention Oscar, man? Like Oscar is up there, bro. She's one of my favorite female. She's one of my favorite female wrestlers. Like,
I'm gonna put her up there then.
especially
She'll be my
she's
honorable
up there,
mention for
bro.
now. Yeah. So when I start
I
that
got
next
yeah.
list, right now they just carved my Mount Rushmore, and now they're starting the other new gen, and she'll be my first one on there.
Basically,
They're
the
starting to
new
do that one.
generation on there. She's
That's gonna
killing
be
it, bro.
tough.
She's been killing it. She's been killing it since like I said, I've been when she debuted in NXT. Like I
Hmm.
said, like I started watching NXT when we went to the WrestleMania 31,
Right.
and that was like 2015. I started watching that and brought her in, and she was in there killing it. They
Yeah.
brought
So.
her in there, had this streak, and I was like, man, I had never seen nothing like that.
Hmm.
I was like a female. They gave a female wrestler a streak, which is the first. I think that's the first time I think I've seen that in history, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Yeah. So for sure, I think she's on there.
They let Charlotte end it, and I was like, I don't know if that was the right person to end. Like, I understand they did it for
Yeah.
the bait. You got to elevate Charlotte, but
Hmm.
she didn't need to do that necessarily. I think Charlotte was Charlotte, so
Yeah. So, but all the women are just they're kicking ass right
all
now.
of them.
There's so many that they finally have a
Right.
depth playing field, like being able to have multiple people. They don't have to rely on one.
Hmm.
If I mean, this is how good they are. You have someone who's Sasha Banks, a superstar, one of the
They
biggest
let her
ever.
go.
Let her go, and they didn't miss a beat.
They didn't. They
And they
didn't.
they got like 10 more to come up, and that are just I'm being honest, like not disrespect, they're just as good. Something that
Yeah.
WCW never was able to do. They would take
They
the big
never. Yeah.
person, but they never built up ever. So
Anybody
they're still
else?
doing it
Yeah.
right now. And then God knows how many great people are still already in NXT waiting to come up.
Hmm.
It's just going to be
Got
unlimited.
it. Unlimited, man. I'm saying the NXT wrestlers, they're getting more athletic. The more you see them, and then the fact Sean's down there running it, bro.
He's
He's
doing a
down
great
there
job.
killing it right now.
Oh yeah, he's loving
He's
it
killing
big
it
time.
right now.
And then man, it's just it's a great time, like I said, to be a wrestling fan again. Just to see where they're putting in the love again. Back then, I
Yeah.
think it was just like I'm sure they all enjoyed it, but it seemed like they were doing it just for their own ego, paychecks.
Hmm.
But now you got people who love it, and especially the women because, like I said, they're kicking ass. They're doing great. I want to watch it. You don't want to skip it. You want to
Yeah.
like because they're what was it?
Like we got
The other pay per view was
the
probably one
Money
of
in
the
the Bank,
best.
bro.
One of the best
That
matches
Money in
I've
the
seen.
Bank, that women's ladder match, it shitted on the men's ladder match.
Big
It
time.
was just like, I'm like, bro, I was like, man. It's funny. I had my cousin. He was talking about. I forgot what was it. The women's Royal Rumble was better than the
It
men's.
was,
Like it
yeah.
seemed like I feel like when they had the man versus women match, it's almost like damn. Sometimes I watch that, I'm like, I feel like I enjoyed the women's match a lot better than I enjoyed the men's. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. And like I said, they're doing great. I think with almost every stable, there's a woman. Like
yeah,
they're trying to do that at least. Like they're trying to include somebody like one manager. Alpha
hmm
Academy has one. Whatever you want to say, like they're all in there. Even people
hmm
who probably wouldn't have made it in the beginning. Someone small like Selena Vega. Like she
yeah,
is small, small,
tiny,
but
but you know,
they give her a push and say, hey, see what you can do with it. Yeah, I think that's
I'm
all anyone
interested to
ever
see what
asks.
they're gonna
Yeah.
do. That's all. Yeah, just hey, they just need a chance. Let me
Mm-hmm.
see what I do with it.
Now I know this
Like I
isn't
said, she's been around for a long time too. So,
yeah, and I know this isn't the podcast for it because we're doing women's Mount Rushmore, but
mm,
LWO probably needs to go. I think they're breaking it up. It's just it doesn't work the same. It's the same as like bringing back the NWO. It's not the same.
it wasn't the same. I mean, I liked it when they first had it, but I think they messed it up once. They they messed it up when they did the old switcheroo when it went from Santos being the LWO
Mm-hmm.
to him starting Legato,
Yeah.
Phantasma, and I was like like, and then they had them beefing for a minute, but
Mm-hmm.
then they went over. So it's like, but I know LWO because what Cruz got hurt. I think Cruz del Toro he got hurt, so he's
That's
been out
right.
for a
Yeah.
while or something like that.
You just can't
So
recreate magic all the time. It's just not gonna
nah,
work. You have it, and then it's time to move on, build something new. Hopefully that's it. Because I don't want to see an NWO again. I don't want to see that
right.
another DX. Imagine that they try to create a different DX.
It's not gonna work.
It
It
wouldn't
won't
work.
unless it's their kids.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't think. Well, I don't even know what's gonna be shot. I know what shit. Hunter got nothing but girls, so it's gonna be in there. You know,
Yeah, but like I said,
imagine if they come wrestle in the future.
exactly. But it's good though that the women are, like we said, they're just knocking it down. They're getting their own. They're finally getting flowers for sure, and that's what they've
Hmm
needed for a long time. But it all starts from the very beginning from Alundra Blayze and China. So I think you know what. Being honest, I think both of us had pretty good number ones. Being able to say
Yep.
where it started from, the original first one to get recognized, and then the first one to start taking it into the ring. Like as far as like being able to get all eyes on them and say, "Wow, women really do this," because she brought attention to her China in a wasn't positive in the beginning. He was like, "Oh my
It
God, look at this
wasn't, but
person," but
yeah,
she ran with it, and thank God for her, because if not, then women still might be being disrespected as far as just their as you said, was it underwear panties or panties bra match?
bra panties match.
That'd be it.
The old
Yeah,
swimsuit.
that's probably where they would
I mean,
still be if it wasn't for I think China.
I'm not opposed to those still, but shit,
Every once in
I
a while,
mean,
little
but same
promo,
time,
yeah, little promo.
yeah, we did promo every once in a while, but
Yeah,
but I like wrestling. I like
exactly.
wrestling. Like that. I like watching women wrestling. Yeah,
They're great now. So
they are great.
yeah, man. Well, I mean, again, pretty solid list and great time with you again, sir. So this
Thank
was a
you.
two, and good to have you
It
back.
was a two.